Welcome, gamers, to this week's episode of Last Call Gaming. We're on episode 36. My name is Craig Perales, and the man that's always slamming a beer to my right is Mandrew Montemayor.
It feels as if it's been a while.
It has been a while. Let's not cut corners about excuses, guys, but we're going to do what they call airbrushing by it, and I'm sure you'll never know what happened. So, guys, we are, as we always do, drinking a beer on this episode, and this is submitted by Jeremy P. Again, Jeremy P., thanks for the shout out, man. Sorry I missed your comment a few weeks back, but we did get the beer you were asking for. Big Blue Van. Andrew picked these up. These are a 5.4 blueberry beer. What caught my eye, and I didn't know, and maybe that's why you recognized it or submitted it. This is Lake Havasu beer.
Yeah.
Lake Havasu beer is right up the street.
Yeah, I read that when I was buying them.
Yeah,
I was like,
what'd you think?
That's pretty cool.
Overall taste. I didn't think it was too over, because I'm not a big fan of any sweet type beers. I have a real hard time doing like Miller Lights and Bud Light Limes. So
I do Miller Light.
Bud Light, I mean, I can't make a day out of them though. So blueberry, I thought was gonna like maybe be one too many, but this is going down quite well.
No, I think it's alright. I wouldn't like slam them all night or anything, but I'm also not like a huge fan of like blueberry pancakes. And I feel like that's exactly what this tastes like.
I literally was really hungover, and I had Dante. He wanted to borrow my car, so him borrow my car. I told him I had to go to IHOP and get me blueberry pancakes. So, you're right. You're hitting home right now, but I wasn't sure I'd be fond of a blueberry beer.
No, I think it's good overall.
I do like the design. I like the nice little hippie flip kind of van cruising down the street, and it's 6'4". But guys, I also want to give a huge shout out to our friend Ronnie in Las Vegas.
Well, first of all, on her podcast, she said we're good friends, great friends even.
What did I say?
Good, just friends.
I'm going to upgrade good to great to best. Ronnie does a podcast called 86 All Hope. So guys, we drink a beer recommended by the fans. She's a hometown hero in Vegas, so she actually does and supports local breweries. So go check it out on 86 All Hope. That podcast is about etiquette when you are at a bar, when you're at a restaurant, how you should act to your server, just proper ways to act in that type of scene. She also takes questions from anyone that has similar stories, and then she likes to answer them. And then she also, what I really like, is at the end, she will pair a book with a drink. So if you're in the mood for something and you're reading the book, she will tell you what that will go with. Again, guys, Ronnie, she's in Las Vegas, which is another right up the streeter.
Right.
And that is 86 All Hope. Go check her out. She is on Buzzsprout. She is on iTunes. She is on Spotify. So if you do like drinking and you want to know about the industry, go check that out.
Yeah, I found it to be like very like good listening.
Yeah,
because it's hard to kind of keep my attention, and it is one of those things that I can put on in the background. I'm just like, I find myself listening to it and zoning out more on what I'm actually doing. So
yeah, so go check that guys out. We cannot give her enough love and praise. So Ronnie, best of luck. I know
this one's for you.
Yeah, she's on episode 2, maybe episode 3. So good luck. But guys, more importantly, we are here to talk about some news. So as you can tell by the thumbnail, we're here to talk about February release games. I chose 3. Andrew chose 3 of the biggest games this month that we don't think you should miss out on.
I think this is something that we're going to maybe try to do at the start of each month and maybe do it in a different format.
I think so.
I think it's kind of a good idea to highlight maybe what we're excited for the month. You can chime in on what you're excited for. Maybe some stuff flies under the radar for you. It's not every game because we don't want to be those people, but we each
exactly. Yeah, we're not doing every game. We recommend a couple games that maybe you should check out. Make sure it tends to your genre and your style of play. So Andrew,
or at least big games that are coming out.
Would you like to go first or second?
I'll go first, and I'll go with the game that I don't think looks great personally for me because I'm not into that sort of thing.
Okay.
But we were watching some stuff for it. I mean, there is some kind of cool things. So, and that would be Dreams, which is only on PlayStation 4. It's coming out February 14th. It's a game that's coming from Media Molecule, and it's actually been building for 6 years now.
Yeah.
Now, this is the same studio that did Little Big Planet. And this is something kind of along that vein. Instead of building, though, with just Sackboy and his world, there's all kinds of different stuff on there.
It's hard to explain.
Yeah, it's really hard to explain. It pretty much is like a build-your-own game. We were watching some people were building like racers, platformers. I was watching this one where someone made like a big maze, and it's like a puzzle horror game that you're trying to solve it as kind of like
cooking
detective.
Games.
Someone straight up made like Crash Bandicoot in there.
Yeah, we were watching it. It looks badass.
Yeah, so I mean, it looks like the kind of thing that would be cool. Just if you're not into building stuff like me, I'm just not. I don't feel like I have the time, but just to play all kinds of random little games that other people make, that sounds like that would actually be really, really cool. The only thing I'm not sure of is just, and nothing against the game, I don't know how they get around like lawsuit stuff, because Crash Bandicoot is Crash Bandicoot.
It looks like Crash Bandicoot.
Neo Vortex is like Neo Vortex, but even still, like that car, there's a game called Car Trip, and you're just almost like destroying this car. It's almost like
a drunk
I forget what the name of Trials, the motorbike game, except for you're using a car to get down like a mountain. But literally, like the intro song is Super Mario Sunshine's, I think it's the Al Delfino song from obviously Nintendo. And so like as soon as I heard it, I was like, wow, how is that in there?
It's
that
mind-blowing.
It's not. Yeah, so I don't know how they get around that stuff, but either way, definitely something to check out if that's up your alley.
Yeah, that was a game. When I was looking at it, I was like, man, I'm looking forward. I don't get it because it looks like there's like 4 different engines this thing's running. Yeah. You can make an 8-bit game. You can make a racer, a shooter. The game looks crazy. And I know there's some other outlets that have been kind of talking down on it in terms of how long it took, in terms of who's going to buy it, who's this game for. And, it's for the dreamers, as they say. And I actually think it looks pretty cool, because even if you don't want to build stuff like Andrew, you can pick that thing up, because there's going to be somebody making a genre game of every class. And if you want to play more games that aren't by a huge studio, I mean, you're going to have a library of them at your fingertips. So I would say check it out.
I would say, yeah, definitely check it out if you're into that sort of thing. Because I play like Roblox, which is like a way shittier version of that.
Way shitty.
But there's all kinds of like fun little things. Like my cousin's like addicted to like the mining game that's on there for some reason. Or we'll go in and we'll play like the Slender Man challenge, or just kill a couple hours sometimes.
Yeah. So that comes out very soon. So the game I want to talk about, guys, was Dark Crystal Age of Resistance Tactics. Now that game is already out. So today is the 6th. That game actually launched on the 4th, PS4, Xbox One, PC, and the Switch. So if you're an old school fan of the 80s Dark Crystal,
never seen it.
Never seen it? Oh, if anyone got that reference. But
well, I know that.
So they they made a Netflix original, which is actually, I believe, a prequel to the 80s movie. And since that happened, now they've done the game. Now, you're essentially going to be playing, the Gelflings versus the Skeksis, which is what the whole, world's about. But I love a good tactical RPG, and they're showing that there's going to be character building. There's going to be a job system, which, if you're a fan of like some of the old school Final Fantasies, a job system is fantastic, especially if that's what you want to delve your time into. Their main selling point was, they're saying there's over 50 unique turn-based battles, and that there's going to be 14 playable characters that you can pick up along the way to continue and play the game. I think it looks fantastic. I haven't finished the Netflix series, but when I started watching it, it looks, I'm on episode like 2 or 3. It's good, man. Like, it's the old Jim Henson, like they recaptured that kind of puppet thing. I'm hoping the game is as good. So far, I'm seeing it's getting pretty good reviews.
Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, maybe, who knows, maybe that would be a game I try, like, kind of like now how I'm watching The Witcher, I want to play the game, this would be the opposite. Play the game, and now I want to watch the show.
I would like that from you, so.
My next game, which is going to be coming out on February 25th, is actually going to be the Mega Man Zero ZX Legacy Collection, of course, from Capcom.
Of course.
That's coming out on all major consoles. And it's pretty much just it's another Mega Man collection. Can never get enough Mega Man.
Right, this makes it the third one or fourth one?
And I think it's the third one, because they did the Mega Man Collection, Mega Man X Collection, and this is Zero, where you play as Zero, of course. So it's years after Mega Man X. It's within that same realm, same universe, same continuity, and you're playing as him. So you're using more of like his Z-Saber techniques. And it's Mega Man 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 plus ZX, and I forget what the second one's called. I think it's ZX2.
Annex or
Anthem,
ZX
or like that? Advent is what it is. So
I remember that A. I remember that big ass A in there.
Pretty much these games I don't think have been on anything else. Majority of them were on Game Boy. I remember actually having one of them and really enjoying it, but that was back in 2002 when this first came out. So it's been a while since I've seen the light of day. And of course it's got the updated things just like the other Mega Man, like a casual mode for those people who aren't into like hard, because Mega Man is notorious for having a bit of a skill ceiling that you have to hit there too. Plus it's also got other things like save assist, so that way you stop halfway through a level if you feel that's your time and you don't have to redo the whole thing. So, stuff in there for someone who wants an easier experience. So yeah. I think that's pretty cool. It's always nice to have that sort of choice or something like that. So that's definitely something I think I'll actually be checking out.
And we talked about it a few episodes back. So, I mean, we knew it was coming. but now it's this month. So if you're into
Well,
it,
yeah, because
check it out.
It actually got delayed. It was supposed to come out, I think, January, and then it just got pushed back a month.
Nothing wrong with that. Hey, nothing wrong with that, right? One more to the list.
Yeah.
The next game, guys, I want to talk about, I'm sure we've talked about this before, was Darksiders Genesis. That is, so originally this game launched on Stadia and Windows on December 5th, but it came to all the main consoles. It's going to be coming out February 14th. And this is actually developed by Airship Syndicate, which developed the game Battle Chasers Night War, which I love, which is on the Game Pass. And it's essentially a top-down Diablo-style game that revolves around the Darksiders trilogy that's already out, where you finally get to play the fourth brother, Strife. It's a single-player or co-op, and you can switch between them. It's a great-looking game. I've been watching all the gameplay. It looks fantastic. It does a kind of build-up where you can launch kind of these power moves. You're collecting souls. So nothing that changes from the original gameplay outside of maybe the style of play. My big thing is I'm looking forward to like that co-op that you can play. Even if you're not playing it, I think it's as easy as switching a button to switch between all the two characters. It looks good. It's right around the corner. It's definitely probably going to be the next game or two. I'm actually definitely good about it.
I was never really a fan of them, but I mean, if it's co-op, I'd probably be willing to at least give it a chance. I always thought it was kind of weird that with all the build up of 1, 2, 3, and how like these games have their like cult following, that the fourth one is just a completely like different like top down way that you would introduce this guy.
I love it. I love it. Why not break the mold? I mean, because if people aren't going out to go get Darksiders 3, which was the third one, switch it up.
Well, no,
let's see where it goes.
And that's kind of where my head was at. I was like, I wonder if maybe Darksiders 3 just didn't do as well, that they decided to do something with this just to continue on the name, or if maybe this isn't developing at the same time, that instead of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I think, because THQ Nordic still owns all the property, so I'm trying to remember who actually develops the main trilogy. It used to be, was it Vigil? I don't remember. But I like that the Airship Syndicate's getting their stab at it, and if this, kind of makes more games like this, I like that they're experimenting with their wheelhouse. If they can make a nice top-down, I mean, there's nothing wrong with putting another game that kind of looks or rivals a Diablo.
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of what I like too, because I actually really like Diablo. So I was like, okay, I wasn't really a big fan of the other ones. Like, I kind of tried one.
This might be a
for like VR, so I was like, okay, maybe I'll enjoy this a lot more, and who knows.
I'm looking forward to it.
The last one I put on my list, actually, and we just kind of like barely saw it when we were looking up all this stuff, but I thought it looked actually really fun and kind of funny. And again, it's another one of those build them kind of, it's a simulation game. It's called Two Point Hospital, and it's built by 2 Point Studios, and this is also coming to all major consoles on February 25th. It's actually already been released on PC, and I guess it's been a smash success in sales.
It's like one of the best simulator games they have.
Yeah, and it's like one of the highest sales one. So it's almost like The Sims. You can build your own hospital. You design like the layout. You can manage multiple hospitals, but then it also gets down more into it, whereas like you're controlling the staff. So like you're hiring doctors, janitors, assistants. You're taking in patients, and as you're taking in these patients, you're kind of dealing with diseases, and some of them are kind of funny. Like there was one that it's called Mock Star instead of Rock Star, so you're trying to cure this guy who thinks he's like Freddie Mercury. Or there's another one where like because it gets kind of comical with it, so like the person has a light bulb for a head, so you're trying to like cure him, and it's for lightheadedness.
I like that. It almost reminds me of like Operation. How like he has like water on the knee.
And and so it's got like lots of kind of funny little things like that, which seem pretty cool too. And then what was even funnier is like so if a patient dies because you don't cure him, it looks like someone wearing like a white sheet going around like this or whatever, but there's just ghosts like haunting your hospital, and it's kind of disrupting like your everyday work while you're trying to save other people and stuff like that. So it kind of seemed like a cool little game. I'd definitely be willing to try it. Again, I'm not like a build your own thing, but that one seems like it's a lot funnier and maybe a lot easier to try.
Yeah, sometimes a comedy appeal in the right setting and the right taste can make all the difference in the world.
Right.
Anything else on that one?
No, that was it for me.
So my last game, guys, was a One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows. Now
another anime fighter.
Yeah, and I saw two different sites. It says one of them says it comes out on the 27th. The other one says it comes out the 28th. That's got on PS4, Xbox One, and Windows. Developed by Spike Chunsoft, and that's the original company that made the original first 5 Dragon Quest. So they know their Japanese art style. It's a 3D fighting game. It revolves on the anime, and
looks good.
I've started the anime. I would need to finish it, so don't crucify me. But it mainly caught my eye because like my brother Gino or our buddy Cien, they've both finished it, and the game looks interesting. And my original thought was like, how do you make a fighting game around a guy that's one punch man. He beats everything. So the way they kind of took that on was they made a new mechanic called Hero Arrival. So if you do pick him, he actually does not start in the battle. So you start fighting with your team, and he's actually on an arrival system.
Yeah,
so
that was pretty funny.
So on the bottom, you see him running. So I haven't grasped my head around if you can beat the other team before he arrives, that counts, or if he eventually gets there. But one of the things they were saying is if, I believe it's Saitama. Saitama, I don't want to say it wrong, but if two people pick him, they can actually fight each other. But they don't have as a flinch reaction. So there's no hitting them and then backing up, and they can actually damage each other. If one beats the other, he doesn't necessarily lose. He just runs away to go to another fight, which was kind of cool. And then they also have a system in there called the Dream version, which I believe puts him in his underwear and dumbs him down to make him fightable on a regular scale to the other characters. But that's not even the high point. The other thing is the game looks really good. It looks really fast. The other characters are kind of what I thought stole the show. And they do a 3-on-3 battle, which is typical in a lot of fighting games. It looked really good. I after coming off of a Kakarot, I wouldn't mind jumping into an anime that did a traditional fighting because the cutscenes looked really well compared to the anime. It looked like another RIFF, scene for scene kind of thing. So that is the last one I have.
Yeah, that's all I got for February.
So guys, those are 6 games. If you're in February, looking forward to February games, check out some of those titles, or correct us if we're wrong. If we missed one that you thought you should be on the list, put it down in the comments and let us know what you think.
Definitely get in there before next month, because next month's a lot more bigger games.
Yeah, right. Yeah. This isn't the time you either pick up the stragglers in February or you start mopping up everything you had to do in December, because
backlog month.
Yeah, backlog month. So guys, with that, let's move into something that was a little controversial, I would say. Phil Spencer just came out and pretty much, and I will paraphrase, says that he's saying that Sony and Nintendo, the traditional guys that they go against when it comes to developing new systems, is not going to be the main competition moving forward into the next platforms. He's eyeballing things more like Google and its Stadia, Amazon and its cloud-based coming, and it's currently Amazon Games as being the next big competition. Andrew, you hear this? Is it wild to think that, and I'll let you dive more into it, a console-based system is declaring that console-based systems aren't its competition and it's moving into the cloud space? Or is it fair to assume that Microsoft is seeing something that knows is going to blow up, and maybe next gen, that's what we're getting?
I don't know if maybe it's just too soon, like they were with the original Xbox One, because right now not everybody is streaming. I mean, the Stadia came out, and that was, people made a big fuss about it for a little bit, but where's it at now? Nobody's talking about it. Nobody cares about it. There's even a thread on Reddit that says it's been however many days since they released a game, released an
40
update.
or 55 or something.
It's over 47. 47 was the last time I checked. But there's been no updates, no other games, nothing big, nothing major coming out like that. So on a scale of, should they be worried about Nintendo's online infrastructure? No. Should they be worried about Sony's online infrastructure as far as that streaming service, because they have Azure, they can, the Xbox Play Anywhere where I'm playing on my phone and stuff like that. Sony doesn't have, I don't think, anything quite like that to where they should be worried about it. But is that what they should be going after? Is that the next big thing?
Demographic?
Who knows? And I don't know if that's it. And I don't know if this is the right direction, especially, or not the right direction, but the right thing to say, especially after you just got your ass kicked by Sony. Because not only, okay, let's say I do have, you can play my stuff on a TV, on your phone, whatever. All right, let me line up to play your maybe average to mediocre games. Meanwhile, this other console is putting out A.
Yeah.
That's what's selling consoles. Not the fact that they could play it anywhere, not so much conveniability. It's not a word. Convenience.
You can make it a word. You can coin it right here.
But the fact that Sony is putting out, a lot of A+ games, a lot of different games. I mean, even for stuff that I don't care about, like Death Stranding, I don't know how crazy well that game sold, but it had people talking, it had people clamoring, it had people's name behind it, like Hideo Kojima, that people know. And what's the last big thing exclusive that Microsoft has put out? I can't even think about it, like Gears 5?
Yeah. It's odd to think that when you're the 14th best-selling system of all time and Sony's in the top 2 and you're in the bottom 10, it's weird to think that someone like Phil Spencer is going to come out and say, hey guys, we're not even worried about that. Because here's the thing that I have to wrap my head around. Unless there's more to a Game Pass model, or more of an xCloud where they're looking at they're going to sell more things like that, or they're banking more money on that. I don't know how you can come straight out and say we're not worried, because what he doesn't clarify is competition in what way. In terms of hardware sales, then obviously who else would you be comparing it to? In terms of cloud-based services, you got Stadia that tanked, Amazon, who's not even out on the market yet in terms of cloud computing power, although they run the biggest, one of the biggest businesses in the world that run it. It's coming soon. PSN network has been running since 2014, but it's laughable essentially if you're going to compare it to what is currently out there. And then the comment strikes me as odd because, well, I don't get what you're saying. Are you saying that the Xbox Series X is going to come out and just blow cloud out of the water, cloud gaming out of the water? I don't. What does that have to do with hardware sales? We don't look at them as competition in terms of what? Because PS5 is going to sell a shitload. Switch is already, I think, better selling than the Xbox One was, and if they're coming out with another Pro,
yeah.
So I take the comment as like, well, be clear, be more clear, because obviously they're not competition if you're not talking about hardware sales. But if you're talking about cloud gaming, well, you're really the only juggernaut out there.
Right.
Nintendo doesn't do it. Sony's catching up. Stadia doesn't do anything. It bombed, and Amazon's on its way. So I'm kind of confused of like where you stacking the blocks, because
it's like on the scale of beers. I'm sure Big Blue Van isn't taking out anybody else, but if they were to put out a comment like, you know what, we're not even worried about anyone else because we're the best blueberry tasting beer, then you know what, you got me. You're right, you do. But am I going to drink you over? No, you're going to, 9 times out of 10, everyone else is going to get my money. 10 times out of 10, the competitor is going to get my money. So that's why it's a little weird to come out and make a comment like that, unless he's just that sure that whatever it is that they're doing is going to be firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, one of the main things he was saying, I just want to get it. He said he was saying that the traditional rivals, right, being Nintendo and Sony, are out of step with the future of gaming. So if you're quoting yourself as saying the future of gaming, well, not competition of them, then I want it to be more defined.
I can agree with that statement that they are out of step with that. That streaming is the future, and that is, I mean, the writing's on the wall. That is what a lot of stuff is going to be, but it's not here yet. And I don't think it's going to be here for a while. And so maybe this is just them.
Especially by the end of the year.
Yeah, ahead of their time. But Sony, in the meantime, has the chance to put out however many exclusives, rack up all that money,
the system.
and figure out a game plan for, okay, now how are we going to get to point B to the streaming thing? Because they have already got A on lockdown. They've got, Ghost of Tsushima, which isn't even out yet. And that game, I think, looks phenomenal. I don't know what that Godfall game. I don't think that looked anything crazy. But I haven't seen anything besides Hellblade 2, and that's a sequel to a game that was multi-plat.
Yeah, and people, I don't know if you forget or you got to be reminded, but like Xbox, Microsoft, and Sony both were working on Azure. Like that was something they were both developing to do
joint at one time
to do cloud service. But one of the big things I'm paraphrasing again because I didn't write it down that Spence was saying was that people can try to catch up, and maybe he is seeing something we're not even seeing. Maybe they're on a scale that we just can't even fathom yet. Is he's going, okay, people can try to remake Azure because that's where it's going, but we've already spent tens of millions of dollars on this, so it's just like, ouch. I get what he's saying, but I'd rather him be a little more clear and say exactly that they're not your competition in what, because Nintendo Switch is selling, and Sony's selling. So if your competition is cloud-based gaming, then I am curious then, because we want to move into another topic about cloud-based gaming.
Well, before we get to that, I just hope, based off of that quote, I just hope that it's, okay, we're 10 millions ahead of everyone else, but I hope we're not too far ahead to like, all right, you know what, guys, we're going to eat a shit sandwich for 5 years, but eventually it's going to pay off, and then that's when we take the lead.
Okay, maybe we'll have this conversation earlier, because when Microsoft came out, they were doing the Kinect like it was going to be the next big thing.
Right.
Bragging about how the Kinect was going to be the next big thing. Talk to your system. Do your camera thing.
Which, in all fairness, they didn't do it properly, but tons of people, how many people out there have a Google Home or an Amazon Echo now, which is the same thing? One of the biggest fucking things. Tons of people use that stuff. They didn't implement it in the right way, and that's not what me as a gamer and consumer wanted, but I just had to put up with.
Right, and that kind of fell off for them. Although, peripherals are different from what they're moving towards, and Microsoft being the overall computer guys that they are, they're seeing something that I'm sure we're all seeing clouds moving in the right way. It's just that sentence is a little odd to me.
But yes, now someone else is jumping into the contender.
So, and the other thing, because this just popped off, not the other day, because you could be able to jump into it. NVIDIA GeForce Now is something that's coming out that is also coming into the cloud streaming services. And you guys can go check them out right now. And here's the difference that they did that is what shot Stadia in the foot. They offered a very generous free service, and then they offer a $4.99 monthly package. But what it does, instead of you buying, like Stadia wants to be the storefront, and it wants to be the distributor, and it wants to be the the person you're going to. This one lets you get everything you've ever had on Steam goes straight to this program, and you can also run it on Android. You can run it on I believe Mac systems, and you can run it on the NVIDIA Shield, I believe.
And for those of you not in the know, NVIDIA is not just some no name. I'm sure a lot of people.
Oh yeah, anyone that you guys should all know who NVIDIA is.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who don't, especially if you're just strictly a console gamer. NVIDIA makes graphic cards.
Yeah, they're huge in the PC world.
Yeah, huge in the PC world. Huge, especially when your drivers don't work and you got to fucking update everything, which is why I stick to a console, because I don't want to deal with that shit.
Right. So, but here's the golden thing though. They start with everything you've ever had on Steam. So all the games you've ever bought, you get. And the other beauty is if you don't buy any games or you haven't bought any games, they're launching with the free game Fortnite. So if you are just a Fortnite player and you want to do that, you have access to it. Stadia didn't do any of this. Stadia made a big deal about they're going to have Destiny 2 on their thing. The xCloud, that was a day one drop.
There was a thing the other day that said Destiny 2, the Stadia's version of the Destiny 2 has already lost like half its player base.
Probably because what's supporting it other than it's the Stadia does run the best at 1080, which I don't think any other streaming system offers. But if that's all you've got, then
I think they're on their way out, because they launched too soon with not enough features.
They did launch too soon. I don't think they're on their way out.
They're damned if they do, damned if they don't, because I think that they launched too soon with not enough features, not enough support, not enough things going on to keep people engaged. But the time it would have taken them to get ready, Microsoft's already going to have something for them. This NVIDIA is going to be out and have something for them. So there's going to be other people already beating them to the punch, that I just think that they're now a middleman. Unless they come out really swinging within the next few months, I think it's,
Yeah, they got to do something soon. And guys, if you are trying to check out the NVIDIA GeForce Now, they do have an offer right now. So go check them out. You can just simply type in on Google that. Isn't an irony that you can type on Google that you can go check them out, sign up for it, and get, if you guys are PC players, go check them out.
NVIDIA, that's a plug. Give us money.
Yeah, NVIDIA, give us money, bro. And you can play it on where we're moving towards: tablets, phones, web browsers.
Play anywhere. Yeah,
go do that. So, Andrew, final question before we move on to riffs. Obviously, Phil Spencer, at least to me, is saying a very kind of confusing sentence in terms of where is that going to land. Cloud-based gaming. Is it going to be the future in terms of it's going to be running on every system, or are we going to start looking at services like Game Pass and Project Cloud now as being their own entities?
I feel like that's like a 5-year away thing.
5 years?
I still feel like it's too soon. I still feel like everyone's still too attached to physical media, whatever. Even Play Anywhere, like I really thought I'd be using that like Xbox thing a lot more. I haven't used it once.
Yeah, but we don't live in a town though where we're commuting to like on subways or anything like that. I'm curious where people anywhere in bigger town. I wonder if Connor is jumping on like a train and going somewhere and using any of that stuff, because we don't live in it and it's not detrimental to our daily gaming in terms of driving. Right. But I am curious where's it going.
Yeah, and again, even when I have time at work, at lunch, when I have my hour break, instead of doing whatever, I'd rather just watch video than, play a game.
And look up news scoops. So guys, let us know what you think about cloud gaming. It is moving in the right direction, but are they all moving in the correct direction? So leave your comments down below and let us know. So with that being said, unless there's anything else you want to chime in on.
No, that was it.
Then let's move into a little riffing. Let's move into some Ken Riffin Jr. Would you like to go first or second?
I will go first.
Okay.
I only have one riff anyway, so I'll go first. My riff, just something that I'm excited for, is Castlevania Season 3 finally got announced for March 5th.
Nice.
So that's here right around the corner. Finally caught up. Absolutely loved
every
bit of it. Yeah, I finished it a while ago, but
nice.
I know it took me forever. And
surprisingly,
absolutely loved it. Can't wait to see where they take the series because I kind of have no clue how they're going to do whatever moving forward. And I think it's something that's just been absolute fire. And so I'm really excited for it.
It's one of the best. I mean, it's always kind of hard to compare like a cartoon to a live action, like a Witcher or something like that. But when a cartoon or I don't know if it's more anime style nails it, it nails it. And I love that it's a Netflix original. And they did a phenomenal job with the first one. They did a fantastic job with the second one. Pacing is fantastic. The only thing I don't like is I think it's a little short. It's
on the length of the season.
On the length of the season. On the length of the season. They're like 6 episode seasons.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely feel like it could be something that's like a 12 because they're not very long. They're only like 20 to 25 minutes. I think.
So you can run through them pretty quick. And as Netflix does, current model is everything comes out at once, so you can binge it. And when you can binge it and it's only 6, it's kind of and then the next one's a year or so away. It's kind of like,
in its defense, even though it's 6, 7, 8, whatever, I don't ever feel like it's been one of those shows where it's like, okay, here's a to B like that. Like I never felt like I never felt like it was rushed.
Yeah, and there was no filler episode. Every episode mattered.
Yeah. So either way, I'm just super excited, and maybe it's just because I just want more. I always want more.
Yeah, and speaking of Netflix, I mean they did The Witcher, so I'm hoping Netflix is kind of going to be our show go-to with IP for video games.
Yeah, I would definitely love something like that, especially
moving in that direction.
Except The Witcher, they have even other things like even though they fumbled the Death Note movie, they took a stab at it. I'm more excited for the Cowboy Bebop show that they're working on. That sounds like badass.
Well, are they doing a One Piece live action interpretation too as well?
I think I think that is something that just got cleared recently as well too.
Netflix, what aren't you doing? So just don't fuck up too many properties because those two, Witcher and Castlevania, are both excellent.
Killing it so far.
I want to do a quick one. It's nothing too much to get into because I don't think anyone has dived into the why, but I was reading a report on Kotaku, and this was a couple hours before we started the show, is that EA has, for some odd reason, hiked up their PC game prices, but it's only on Steam services. So the prices are unchanged in the US, and if you were to go buy, like in Russia right now, the Mass Effect collection went from being $800 to $1,700, and what it's not even currency consistent because one country to the next, the prices aren't matching up in terms of it went up X amount of dollars. So the only game that hasn't suffered from it is Jedi Fallen Order. I don't get it. I don't get why. Like, where is this coming from? The only thing I can think of is that they want you to just go straight to EA's storefront and buy it.
Yeah,
but that's kind of odd though.
Origin is what they call it.
Something Marketplace, I thought it was, but so if you guys are Steam players and you're seeing this big hike up, it's not something wrong with your computer.
Outside the US.
Yeah, this happened yesterday, and this is what's going on with the EA. And like every other question, we always ask EA, why? Hey, why? So
why not fuck everything else up?
Yeah, so there's that, EA. Another one. You little bastards. Do you have any other riffs?
No, I'm done with that.
Nice. Well, we are making beautiful time. So we want to get back to Jeremy P. We answered your beer question of what we're gonna get. But
he also had a question.
But he also had a video game question of the week. So he was asking, and maybe I'm paraphrasing the wording, but he said, "Do you think Pokemon Sword and Shield was an easier game from the originals?" Correct.
Right.
Andrew, you played a little bit of it, and then I'll dive into more of my answer. What do you think?
I'll say that it is easier, but it's easier because you're getting XP across the board is what I found. So in the classic games, I don't think I've ever really had a hard time in Pokemon except for maybe like 1 or 2 times. But the two definitive that a lot of people can say is if you start with Yellow, because it's pretty much your Pikachu versus Brock's fucking community of Brock Pokemon that you can't do shit. And then Gold and Silver, when you run into Whitney's fucking Miltank that just fucking rolls you to death. That's everybody's peak hard point almost unanimously when you ask anyone about Pokemon. Other than that, I've never really heard anyone else say, like, oh man, this part of Pokemon was so hard. And I can't remember anything else ever being that hard. And so I would say that this is easier, especially from what I played of it, because my Pokemon are evenly leveled. Because generally what I'll do is I'll throw out whoever, and then I have my one brick shithouse Pokemon that I've had since the very beginning, and that's what I use to try to mop up whoever it is. This now, I can experiment a whole lot more, that I could afford just this big team. I don't have to sit there for hours on end grinding. So yeah, I would say it's easier, but I would say it's also convenient in the right way, that I didn't feel like cheated, because I don't think Pokemon's ever really been hard. The only thing that was hard was, when I ran to the water gym or the psychic gym, I didn't have something that could fight those. So now I got to go catch a level 4 Pokemon, raise them up to level 40 where I'm at, just to try and fight these guys, and then I'll never use them again because there's nothing else like that the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I can only mirror Andrew's statement. Is it easier in terms of what I can do? Yeah, I get a bike without grabbing it. Fishing poles I start with. There is the experience across the board. It's easier in terms of what you able to get. But like Andrew's saying, the other games outside of a battle that you weren't prepared to do with a Pokemon that can't match the other one, the games are never hard. I mean, they're meant for children, so it's not so much that one's, I would say, harder than the other. What I am noticing, though, is there's more to do in the new one. So instead of wasting your time with grinding or wasting your time with make sure your Pokemon knows strength so it can move the boulder. And if you don't have it, you have to run back and switch them out or cut or flash. They kind of take all that stuff out. And I wouldn't say that it makes it harder or easier. This new game just offers more to it. So you don't have to waste your time doing stuff that was grindy or inconvenient.
To that point, running into pointless fucking Pokemon that you don't want to catch because now you can see them besides the obvious, mandatory battles. I don't have to walk through the grass and get past 40 fucking Rattata and 2 Caterpie before I'm like, thank God, dude, I'm fucking on the other side.
This game completely makes it to where it's streamlined if you need to make it streamlined, but there's so much more to do in it. So is it easier in terms of if I'm comparing this one to yellow or red and blue or gold and silver? Easier in terms of what you don't have to do anymore. There's no more burden. There's no more. And like any other game, you can put it down for 30 days, pick it back up. You might forget what the fuck you're doing in the old Pokemon games, where this one keeps a constant note of what you have to do. So I wouldn't say that it's so much easier. It's just more streamlined. It's more focused. It's more get to the point of what you want to do playing the game, and all it did was eliminate the grind, in my opinion.
And I would say if you're gonna call it's easier, but it's not detrimental.
Yeah, it's so take that with what you were. I do want to hear your opinion on it, if you have beaten it or if you have not. So Andrew, anything else we need to get into?
Just go over the giveaway one more time.
So guys, we are giving away a copy of Resident Evil 3. Keep in mind, Resident Evil 2 was, on a lot of outlets, the game of the year. So we're going to give this game to you. This game comes out
March 3rd.
April 3rd.
April 3rd.
So the last contest.
No, March 3rd.
Don't make me ask Google. Look it up real quick, and I will explain the rules. Guys, so make sure that you put in hashtag RE3. That will give you an entry into the drawing. So when we actually do it, that's how we pick your name out of it. So if you want to be in it, make sure you follow us, guys. Check every episode we do that allows the entry. Check out every forward episode that will continue it. And Andrew,
oh man, I don't know why I thought March 3rd.
I'm
crazy.
Right?
Yeah,
am I right?
Yeah, I'm crazy.
So that is April 3rd, which the drawing will end on the 27th of March. So.
Oh, that's why I'm getting mixed up.
Right, that's where the ending stops. So, guys, make sure you do that. Follow us on all the social medias, guys. Your Facebooks, your iTunes, all that good stuff. Instagram, Twitter. And if you guys want to submit questions, make sure you do them to our email, lastcallproductions@gmail.com, or leave them in the comments. So, Andrew.
Don't forget to hit the notification button. Because, again, like always, lost in the clutter of your million other videos. Want to know when it's out like that?
Yeah, because we want you guys to jump in the comments, right? Let's engage. Let's talk a little bit. So, until next time, my name is Craig Perales, and that is Mandrew Montemayor. Cheers.
I just don't like the sound of her voice.
You know what? No, I don't. I've really never minded her voice because I forget the name of the character, but I like her in Tarzan.
Oh, I was just about to say what Tarzan, her one word, Turk.
Turk, is that what her name is? Yeah. Sing, I'm feeling something here. So, that's how you get copyright strikes. But
Fuck the ending of Kakarot though, dude. I'm not doing these like grindy. Play me for like another 10 hours.
What do you have left? Just the 2? It was, man.
No, I have a couple, but like where after like, dude, it was weird. So like before, like after I beat the game, I was at like 340. So I was like, all right, I'll play a few more hours and just do other shit that wasn't like a lot, like go fight those guys and stuff like that. And after I was done doing that stuff for like another few hours, I was at like 840. So it was just like the achievements were just like pouring.
It's just so like the reason I'm liking it different compared to like The Witcher. Like The Witcher, same amount of time, right? Around 40 hours or so. But it's like the story's changing. My character is developing. I can use a new move. I can use a new thing. It's just I'm upgrading my character, but it's like for nothing changes. And my biggest gripe is I don't like how they don't say what the next move does better than the other one. There's no percentage basis that shows. Yeah. Oh, it goes up 45% attack or 14%.
Yeah, that would be.
It's like I don't know it, so it's like why? How do I pick my moves then? How do I know
for a first game? I can understand, but it's like
it wasn't bad. Yeah, once I was done with it, I was just like, okay.
I would not have done like those like beat 'em up fucking like all the villainous guys.
There should be a way right when they're about to hit you, if you could hit like a button that says engage in battle, decline, and I can keep going. Because the fact that they're mandatory...
Oh, dude, I hated...
The fact that they're mandatory is just... Once they hit you, it's just like, motherfucker.
I hated that because I would be trying to get to, like, one of these fucking red dudes. Or, like, the first time you meet that chick, and she's like, oh, I've got a surprise for you, blah, 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 before you go to the Kai dimension, you know what? And she's standing on the thing.
Oh, she has the...
And then you fight, like, Vegito, Go Tanks, and whatever right there. So, I'm looking around. I couldn't fucking find her forever because she wasn't... It wasn't red enough to where I could fucking see her. Finally find her. I land down there because you can't fly into it because you'll just go over it. And I'm walking to her. Dude interrupts me. Mm-hmm. I have to fight this asshole, go save, then come back.
Or even just trying to hunt Dragon Balls was a chore. Because it's bad enough I have to do the loading time for every fucking thing. But if some guy bumps into me, or 4 of them, try to come at me, it's like, Jesus fuck, there should be a decline button.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not trying to... Or turn off. Like I'm not trying to do random fights.